I've called this episode "Do Not Pity the Palestinians, Pity the Living." I want to explain what I mean by that. There's one aspect of the war in Gaza that we don't focus on so much, and that is that the most impressive achievement of the Palestinian people in its entire existence has been the creation of a massive tunnel network under Gaza. There are some tunnels that stretched 200 feet down, covering the entire Gaza, a huge interconnected map. Spaces that could house people for months with food. They held the hostages down there. There were places where cars could drive through. This is a huge city. What was it created for? Why did they make this? And it's clear. The purpose of the tunnel system was to draw Israel into a war where they would have to destroy Gaza in order to fight their war. That was the purpose of the tunnel system. Now just think about what that means. A normal people, more normal nation will create fortifications in order to protect the city. Or at least if they have underground areas, that's in order to shield people. So you would imagine that the civilian, at the time of a war, the civilians would be able to go underground and the fighters would be above ground, right? No, exactly the opposite happened. The fortifications, the first line of defense were the civilians. They were to be protected by civilians. In other words, it's a suicidal people. It's a suicidal ideology. The purpose of the people were to protect the fortifications. The purpose of the fortifications is not to protect the people. They have exactly the backwards ideology, exactly the backwards of a virtuous, righteous society. They are suicidal people. They are genocidal and suicidal people. Their goal was to create a war that they would lose by bringing destruction on themselves in order because they believe that bringing terrible world opinion onto the Jewish people will be good for their cause and will eventually liberate Israel. That is what their ideology is. And it is sick. And it is sick to its core, and it is obviously sick. And anybody that supports this cause is sick too. So I named this episode after one of the most famous lines of Harry Potter, where Dumbledore turns to Harry in the dream state, and there's a dying baby representing Voldemort, and she says to Harry, "There's nothing we can do." He says, "Don't pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living." And so I say, when you look at Israel and Gaza, see that you have a suicidal, genocidal nation next to a nation that loves life, and realize, do not have pity on the dead. Do not have pity on the people committing suicide. Have pity on the living. Have people on the ones that have fought this war against their will. People that want to live in peace. People that want to build. Support the living. Support the Jewish people.